Spectacular. Price is right.
I'm sure it's funny. Well, sir.
Good evening, and welcome to KRMS News. My name is John Greensburg. Our top story tonight, a Scottish research institute has successfully cloned a sheep. The clone's name is Dolly, and she was born early last July. Dolly has been confirmed as an exact genetic duplicate of the ewe she was cloned from. Scottish scientists at the Roslin Institute in Edinburgh have waited until now to publish their research in order to ensure its validity. Dolly was the first mammal to be cloned from an adult cell. Scientists around the world are calling this a huge breakthrough for the genetic and biological fields. Scientists, however, regard it as controversial. The cloning of Dolly has posed unprecedented questions in the fields of bioethics, a subject that scientists will say will be growing sizably over the next few decades. Additionally, the issue of genetic engineering is becoming a new concept in which scientists are researching the ability to manipulate the genes of cells. This issue of genetic engineering is becoming more common, and KRMS News asks the people of your community what they think of this.
Novatel's Go Anywhere portable cellular telephone features full function.
What is your opinion about this new scientific discovery?
I think it's really cool, man. Like, the fact that science is capable of these things just really blows my mind. I mean, the fact that we can manipulate genes and stuff to do all kinds of neat things like clone sheep, that's amazing. But at the same time, it kind of freaks me out. Because just look at how irresponsible politicians are. Maybe someday in the future, there'll be like an army of cloned sheep walking around. And I really just don't want to see that happen.
I think these scientists are getting away from themselves, and all of this new technology, pretty soon it's just going to be running our lives.
Mr. Nye, what is your opinion on this new scientific discovery?
Clones have always been a terrific concept. I think that the cloning of a sheep is an amazing feat of science.
Honestly, I really don't know. It's confusing to me, and I think that in our scientific fields we have the capability for it, but I don't know, it seems kind of sketchy to me, so I don't know, I'm kind of worried about it, in all honesty.
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
I saw this movie one time. What was it? Oh, it was The Boys from Brazil. It was a movie in the 70s that was about an underground cult that preserved Hitler's DNA and then made a whole bunch of Hitler clones. So I guess it was considered a science fiction movie back then, but with the technology now, I think it's probably a fiction movie or a non-fiction movie.
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
Yeah, man, I mean, I think that it's possible probably in the near future, but I also think that scientists need to do like more research and stuff.
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
Absolutely, and that's really scary. I mean, think about it. Having more than one of yourself, wouldn't you lose your identity? Who would be you? Would you be you? Or would the other you be you? And what if there was another other you? And what if some of them were evil?
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
Yeah, very much so. I think that with the way that our technology has been advancing in the scientific field, I think that really anything is possible if we can pull this off.
When do you think scientists will be able to clone humans?
5 years at most. Most definitely 5 years. Yeah.
20 years?
I don't know. I think it's probably going to be in the near future.
What is your response to the fact that it is not illegal to clone humans in the United States?
All the more reason to explore this new science. Man, the law can shove it. I mean, like, who is the government to go around and tell us what we can and cannot do? Just sticking their nose in our business. It's the man. He's controlling everything we do, and he cannot control the cloning future.
I think that cloning is just like playing God, and if it was able to be voted to be outlawed, I would totally vote for it to be outlawed, because we're going in a whole different direction than human beings should be, and I just think that it's a really crazy thing to do.
Would you clone yourself?
That is a very interesting question. For me, I think I would.
Would you clone yourself?
Honestly, I really don't know. I'm kind of scared, and I'm interested about it, but I would much more rather have the scientists do all the cloning before they clone me.
Would you clone yourself?
Oh God, no.
Yeah, man.
Scientists and experts are now asking unprecedented questions about ethical concerns and for the future of the human race. One female scientist, Jody Robertson, is saying that we may have no need for males in the future. Dr. Lee Silver, a biology professor at Princeton, says that cloning and genetic manipulation can now be performed feasibly. He is convinced that we are well on our way to cloning humans and that this will happen in the next couple of years. Finally, a Jesuit priest and geneticist at Loyola University, Illinois, says while discussing science fiction fantasies, quote, "Because we have all this technology and we have this ability, we can spin off these fantasies. But that doesn't mean we do it. It would be going against everything we desire for the human race." In other news, the Dow Jones Industrial Average recently broke 7,000, reaching a total of 7,022.44 last week. Economists are saying that this decade has produced massive improvement in the stock market, with the market's top companies making more money than ever. Economists also note the healthy growth in our GDP and the low rates of inflation throughout last year. Not only this, the hourly wages and salaries for Americans are both rising and have been for the last several quarters. Now to Janet with weather.
Thank you, John. Today the weather had a high of 44 degrees Fahrenheit and a low of 33 degrees. The state remains mostly dry without moisture. There's not that many outstanding events today for the weather. Thank you. Back to you, John.
Thanks, Janet. Yesterday, a 69-year-old Palestinian teacher named Ali Abu Kamal opened fire at the Empire State Building's observation deck, killing one and wounding 6 others. He expressed his intent as punishing the United States for supporting Israel. Kamal shot and killed himself immediately after opening fire. Security officials of the Empire State Building say they are uncertain of how he was able to smuggle the weapon past them, but they intend on ramping up security for the building and encouraging the city of New York to do the same, noting the increased number of terrorist attacks over the past several years. Also yesterday, NBC reports that 65 million people viewed their uncensored airing of the decade's classic Schindler's List. NBC claims that this viewership is one of the largest audiences in history. In sports, today marks the 10th anniversary of NBA player Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's 36,000th point, and the Tucson golf tournament came to an end, its winner, the one and only Jeff Sluman. Tucson is now hosting another golf tournament, the Chrysler Classic, that many say will level the playing field for professional golf. In international news, South Africa just today announced that it is planning on constructing the world's largest blimp. This project is being undertaken by the Hamilton Air Company, which has announced specific plans and designs that will require $3 million by this April. Good luck, South Africa. Qatar has launched the largest natural gas exporter in the world today, and has established the Qatar Natural Gas Company, said to improve the export potential of Qatar dramatically, offering richer fossil fuel reserves to its Middle Eastern neighbors. The sad death of the Chinese leader Deng Xiaoping last week has been followed by KRMS News, and today the leader's body was cremated. The Chinese people are grieving and mourning their lost leader, and hoping that the next is of as high spirits as their last. Well, folks, that concludes our news for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, face the world with a skepticism that you can get from KRMS News.
Action. Don't smile.
I'm the newscaster. The smile. Tucson is now hosting another. Oh. Right. This time.
It's beautiful. Okay. Have I been filming this entire time?
Qatar has launched the largest liquefied natural gas exporter in the world today and has established the Qatar National Gas Company.
Natural.
Qatar.
Okay, yeah. That's good, that's the
Pick
bloopers
the
too.
boom up.
Okay, I'm trying.
The Chinese people are grieving and mourning the loss of their leader, and hoping that the next is of as high spirits as the next one. Or as their last. It's a really hard
That
phrase.
can't be it at all.
It's a really hard phrase.
I know.
Is of as high spirits as their last.
That's impossible.
Is it?
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
Yeah, man, like, I think that it's possible. I just at the same
Do you think this opens the possibility to clone humans?
Yeah, man, like, I feel like scientists have to do more research. It's a thing.
Well, folks, that concludes our news for tonight. Thank you for tuning in, and as always...
Start over. What? It was definitely, like, right above your head. You totally said
No,
that.
you could just go. Camera's about to die.
That concludes... Wait, well, folks, that concludes our news for tonight.
Not yet.
Start over.
Well, folks, that concludes our news for tonight.